pleasure to be here. I'm your host for tonight's event here in Las Vegas. It's an honor for me to be here, particularly with all the friends and family that we've met and had here since we've been here in Las Vegas. I was a Raider from 1998 till 2001, 2002, and just had a great time with being a Raider. First and foremost, yeah, thank you. First and foremost, though, Allegiant Stadium here, the best stadium in the National Football League, and it's an honor for us to be here and have our first event here in Nevada. So just wanted to make sure that we get all of those things out. A huge thank you to all my teammates, co-workers, family, and friends for making this a very positive and special event here in Nevada. Pro Player Foundation Development has developed Educate, Elevate, and Collaborate, the initiative to increase multiple sclerosis outreach, awareness, and engagement. Tonight marks the 6th Reach for the Road panel, and we're incredibly grateful for the support and generous support for all those who share in this great opportunity to bridge the gap with traditional messaging to meet the impact of those suffering from MS. As you will know here later on, we have incredible people here in our organization and outside of our organization who have really done an outstanding job of bringing multiple sclerosis to the forefront. Here, Minnesota, Dallas, San Diego, Mary B. and her team has done an incredible job. This year, we celebrate the 20th anniversary of Pro Player Foundation. We especially like to thank Genentech for their generous support as our platinum sponsor for the 2023 Reach on the Road series. After Las Vegas, we'll go on the road to Minnesota in the fall or in the summer and Texas in the fall, right before football season. So all you Dallas Cowboy fans can get ready for the season. But what it's about is it's really about this organization trying to help spread a light on the challenges that face us with MS. The impact that MS has had on my family personally and my extended family personally is an individual situation that we all would hope that at some point is going to end. Back in 2002 or 2003, Mary B., we used to run a organization and a fundraiser for Sharp Hospital for Rady's children. Tyler was a great example of a young football player trying to get to that next level in the draft and was a participant in helping us make sure that all of the dishes were washed, all of the bags were packed, and unfortunately, and fortunately for us, his journey to the NFL took a little side road. And he was diagnosed with MS, and Mary B. got together and turned this thing around. And so our focus from that point on was all about MS and trying to get the help for all the people who were affected. At this time, I'd like to introduce Melanie Hopkins from Genentech, who's our platinum sponsor, to come up and say a couple words.
Thank you, Eric. And good evening, everyone. My name is Melanie Hobson, and I am honored to represent Genentech, the platinum sponsor of the 2024 Reach on the Road panel series tonight. Before we dive into the program, I'd like to express our deep appreciation for being a part of this vital initiative. At Genentech, we are committed to improving patient lives and their health. And supporting the Educate, Elevate, Collaborate initiative aligns perfectly with our mission. We admire Eric Allen and the Pro Player Foundation's dedication to empowering the MS community with knowledge to enhance the patient journey. Tyler Campbell's passion and commitment to this cause is truly inspiring. As a Las Vegan myself, I'm thrilled we are kicking off the first stop of the Reach Tour at Allegiant Stadium. By coming together at events like this, we can bridge gaps in patient care and enhance the MS patient experience. Pro Player Foundation, thank you for your tireless efforts. I'm excited for everyone to hear Tyler's story and the impact it's making on the MS community. Tyler Campbell, thank you so much for everything you're doing, and please come on up. There you go.
Yeah. I want to say this first and foremost with EA, because Melanie was on it. She was ready to introduce me. He was supposed to be up next. With Eric, with Pro Player, they welcomed me into their family. His wife, Lynn, their 4 amazing children. Those of you who've walked this road with MS, y'all know it takes a village. I was in California all by myself. My mama wasn't there. My daddy wasn't there. They embraced me. And so a big part of who you see today is largely because of people like Eric and his wife and their children and Pro Player and all the members of the family. So I'm incredibly thankful. A product of what you see is largely because of them. On this MS journey, I'll be honest with you, I was told that it might be difficult to be able to conceive. I was prepared for a life of loneliness. I was told what wasn't possible. There's a beautiful woman over there to your right, my left. That is my amazing wife. We've been married 13 years. We have 4 children. She's over there. And so I thank you, Shayna. I love you dearly, baby. And we are in this thing together. And we will continue to be all a part of this thing together. So let's get this thing started. The Allegiant, we are so incredibly blessed to be in this stadium. We thank the Raiders because the Raiders have been on point with their support for us in this city. We are here because of them, and it is a true blessing to be able to be in this stadium, y'all. This is awesome. I want to, yeah, absolutely. You hear the Raiders chants by Eric in the background. But there are some amazing people who are on stage with me, and if you give me the chance, I want to give them their flowers, as we like to say, for what they do in our MS community. And many of you who are in the audience, you know who these individuals are. And I'm telling you, it is a joy to be able to talk to them. To my left, your right. First up, Dr. Lee Hua. If you can, give her a warm round of applause. Okay? Next to her, you see Dr. Carrie Hirsch as well. Give her a round of applause. And to my right, patient advocate came all the way over from Arizona, Chris Dunbar, ladies and gentlemen. We'll learn more. I want to give them their introductions in just due because there's a lot more to them than what perhaps you know as patients. And Dr. Lee Hua is first, and she's the director of multiple sclerosis program at the Cleveland Clinic, the Lou Ruvo Center of Brain Health in Las Vegas, Nevada, and Dr. Hua earned her MD, I don't hold this against her, at the Keck School of Medicine at the University of Southern California. I'm a San Diego State Aztec. It's hard for me to say those words. Dr. Hua is involved in clinical trials, oh so important, okay, in assessing new therapies or treatment of MS, and her personal research interests including using advanced MRI techniques to study MS and neurological disorders. She's a student of the game, as well as aging and cognition in MS. She is currently the Eric and Sheila Sanson Chair of MS Research at the Lou Ruvo Center of Brain Health. Please give her another round of applause, okay? Again, Dr. Carrie Hirsch, you have to give flowers. She joined the faculty at the Cleveland Clinic, Lou Ruvo Center for Brain Health in August of 2015, where she also serves as associate professor, she's teaching y'all, of neurology at the Cleveland Clinic, Lerner College of Medicine of Case Western Reserve University. She also directs the Multiple Sclerosis Health and Wellness Program and the Professional Engagement Program, and is Associate Program Director of the MS Neuroimmunology Fellowship of the Cleveland Clinic Lou Ruvo Center for Brain Health. Dr. Hirsch sits on the board of governors of the Consortium of MS Centers as co-chair of the Scientific Program Committee and serves on numerous national and international steering committees. panels, boards, et cetera, et cetera. But listen to me very carefully. These are two amazing women, and if you learn their story, you will know that Dr. Hua actually translated for her family at the age of 5, helping them, or her grandparents at the age of 5, helping them navigate the healthcare system. Dr. Hirsch saw her father do amazing things as a psychologist, and that was when she was exposed to healthcare. I am a father of 2 daughters. They are the product of what you could potentially expose your children to and what they can become if you do it right. So it is an American dream and a powerful story, and those of you who are patients, who are of these women, y'all are blessed to be in great hands. Great hands. To my right is Chris Dunbar. He resides in Arizona with his fiancee Nabila, and he has, wife Nabila, and he has been living with MS since November of 2015. Seizures and spasms, they ruptured his body in his post-diagnosis state, and it led to a hospital stint of 8 months. It wasn't until he got in contact with a neurologist whose specialty was MS that his life began to change. Today, ladies and gentlemen, you are looking at the first international fitness and bodybuilding professional with multiple sclerosis who has not only competed, but is winning consistently with multiple sclerosis. His transparency and authenticity are what we love. And he brings a valued perspective, especially from a male's perspective, right, ladies? We need a lot more of that so everybody can understand. And so it is incredibly exciting to have somebody who's willing to give their heart freely for us to be learning from it. So thank you, Chris, for everybody for being here. I'm your host, Tyler Campbell, Pro Player Foundation. This is our family. This is what we do. We are vessels within the community. They say MS ambassador. I say I'm not. I'm a multiple sclerosis vessel. It's my job, our job, to help put things together to bridge gaps for people from underserved communities and underrepresented communities so that we can better advocate for this disease jointly and together. But nothing is possible without sponsorship. Y'all know y'all got to have support of people who believe in what you believe so that what you have can feed the masses, okay? So a special thank you to our platinum sponsor, Genentech, our Heisman sponsor, Novartis, our Heisman sponsor, Biogen, our silver and back sponsor, TG Therapeutics, our other silver and back sponsor, EMD Serono, and another silver and back sponsor, a family. Love these individuals, Dr. Jacqueline DuPont Carlson and Mark Carlson. Thank you, everyone, for being here. We're going to cut to a short video that comes to us from our platinum sponsor, Genentech. If you're in this, take a look at the screens, and we will be right back to start this program. Thank you.
Why didn't the doctor believe me? Did I say something wrong?
Do we have to experience the same pain and bias as our parents and grandparents? What if they actually gave us access to those clinical studies we learned about and those cutting-edge medicines? How many lives would that save? How much longer would we live?
What if we asked the bigger questions and really tackled the root causes of systemic inequities in healthcare? People of color still do not receive equal access to healthcare. We're determined to change this.
Thank you so very much, everybody who is tuning in via live stream. We thank you. We appreciate you. Genentech, we thank you so very much for the support and the video that was just debuted. Today is all about putting together your multiple sclerosis game plan. It's not enough to talk about treatment. It's not enough to talk about the disease. What I'm more after is giving people food, giving people knowledge, giving people wisdom that they can tangibly take with them to their doctor visits. When it comes to speaking around their families, when it comes to monitoring your health, the goal of tonight is to give you a physical game plan that not only holds you accountable, but it helps educate, elevate other individuals around you who are walking your MS journey. So we're going to be talking about our MS game plan today. So Dr. Hua, I want to come to you first. I feel like preparation is key when it comes to, putting together a game plan. When I played football, if you didn't study the playbook, you weren't getting on the field. We only have a certain amount of time in our visits with a specialist. And I feel like you can do better for yourself as a person if you're coming from underrepresented, if you've walked this journey for a long time, no matter what your dynamic makeup is, when you approach the office, I want you to come prepared. How does it elevate the actual patient-doctor experience when a patient comes prepared to an appointment?
Thank you. Is this on? Yeah. Thank you, Tyler. So it is actually really critical. I actually love it when my patients come with a list. They all complain about it, but it's great. And if you've been in a room with me, I'll always start off, how are you doing? I have an agenda. This is what we're going to try to do. But before I get to what my agenda is, I want to know what your agenda is. And if you can tell me what the key points are, then I can plan the visit, because I know how much time I have with you. I have a whole host of people waiting for me the rest of the day, and if I don't manage my time well, then nobody really gets the care that they need. So if you can tell me up front what you're looking for, right? And sometimes patients will ask, like, well, my first question I want an answer. I was like, no, tell me all your questions, because sometimes they're related, and the more you can give me, then I know how to set their next, 30 minutes together. Okay, it's like, okay, I have this, I need to hit this point, I need to go over your MRI with you, I need to ask your labs, but I know what's driving the appointment, and then that allows me to plan. It's maybe like these three things that you thought were completely unrelated. Well, I know based on where your lesions are, based on what you're doing, is that they're actually really related, so we can kind of address them all together. So the better prepared you are, the more questions that you have, and letting me know early, right, at the very beginning of the appointment, allows us to really plan what the next few 30 minutes or so is going to be like, so that we can maximize our time together and give us a really course of what the next few months are between our appointments, so we can actually care for you thoroughly.
I love it. And there's no such thing as a bad question. And we've heard that all of our lives, but for some reason, when we get into the appointments, we freeze up or we don't prepare. You don't come to your job unprepared. This journey is your job. It is your duty to take care of yourself, and knowledge and wisdom or power. So why not bring those things into the clinic and get the answers that you are looking for? And if they aren't there in that time, ask your specialist, what do I need to do to get those answers? That's what this thing is all about. Demand what you need, because the doctors are there for you. Dr. Hirsch, I want to come to you. In defense, in the games that we have, you got to learn to navigate the field, right? A big hurdle for the underserved communities is lack of resources and transportation. And a lot of times, I know this coming from the family that I come from, coming from the culture that I come from, when we don't have the transportation, when we don't have the resources, we tend to give up. And you can't give up with this disease, because it will take your body if you give up. And so how in the world do we help patients find an MS specialist, right? How in the world do we help people find the right MS specialist for themselves, and how do they go about addressing kind of the resources or things that may hinder them from getting where they need to go?
I just want to make sure I don't have to press the button. Perfect. Before I answer your question, Tyler, I just want to thank everybody for being here tonight. This is such a beautiful turnout. I want to thank everyone who is living with MS, their family, their support systems, their care partners, all of our partners from industry who help support our disease-modifying therapies. Thank you so much for being out here tonight. I really would like to give a round of applause for all of you in the audience. Which is really just a moment for me to gather my thoughts, but I'll go on. It all starts with asking questions. When something doesn't feel right, ask questions. When something doesn't seem right, ask questions. And as Tyler has so succinctly said earlier, that it takes a village. We are not on this earth by ourselves. We have our family, we have our friends, we have our community. And when something isn't right, I empower you to ask questions and say something is not right. I also want to empower you to know that you have in you the power to find the right individual to partner with you in your life with MS. And if the individual who is sitting in front of you, whether it's a physician, whether it's a nurse, whether it's an advanced practice practitioner, you have a voice. And if it's not right and the relationship doesn't fit, that's okay. There are other individuals out there who are a better fit. And there are so many resources that are available that may be untapped. The National MS Society, the MS Association of America, the MS Foundation, Can Do MS, all of these nonprofit organizations are available to provide information, education, resources, to find transportation, to get you to your doctor's office. At the Cleveland Clinic Lou Ruvo Center for Brain Health, we are blessed to have those resources available so that every individual who sees us can see us. So I empower you. You all have a unique voice. Speak up, empower, advocate.
Absolutely love it, and it can't be spoken enough. You have the power. Use the power. As we transition then to Dr. Hu, I want to get back to you because we talked to this importantly earlier. How does a patient go about distinguishing, because there is a difference between an MS specialist and a neurologist, and how does that help the patient with making that distinction and finding a specialist as soon as they possibly can?
So this is actually a really important point to make. I'm not sure if that you guys are aware of what the training is required to become a neurologist, right? So you do your undergrad degree, you go to medical school for 4 years, then you do a neurology residency for 4 years, right? And then you're a general neurologist. In that time, there is never a required MS rotation. Most of neurology training is going to be in the hospital. And unfortunately, as their times of changing, their exposure to outpatient neurology, bread and butter neurology, has actually decreased. You actually have to go out of your way to request an MS elective. Otherwise, at most, I know like in my training program, you probably would have gotten maybe 4 clinics through your 4 years of neurology training. So for us to become MS specialists after our neurology training, we spent additional time to really drive and dive into our passion, right? So 1 to 3 years of extra training. Dr. Hirsch did a little bit more because she really wanted the research. For me, I really wanted to just jump into patient care. So we did extra training beyond that because we knew what the importance was to really understand the disease, to understand the immune system, to understand what was actually really going on with our patients, to have an understanding of the treatments, and to really think about how to care for patients comprehensively, right? So the difference is that specialty, that understanding of that deep dive into the disease, that deep dive into really looking at how to care for patients holistically. When you go to a general neurologist, they don't always have the time to hang out with you for as much time as possible. A lot of them will have 15 minutes in a follow-up if you're lucky, and a new patient maybe 30 to 40 minutes if you're lucky. We spend 60 minutes with our new patients. We spend 30 minutes with every single follow-up patients because that's our passion. We have argued and set up our system because we said this is what our patients need. This is how I can best care for my patients. In order to find out who's an MS specialist, you actually have to just ask them, what is your training beyond general neurology? Did you do a fellowship or not? And fellowship-trained neurologist or fellowship-trained MS specialist is how you kind of get there. So beyond neurology training, so that you get that extra year, that extra time to really understand what's actually happening with the disease.
And I know it's some aha moments taking place right now. Dr. Hirsch, pressure's on because we're up against the clock. I want to ask you this. You are a proponent of shared decision-making. And coming from a culture, there's a lot of misdiagnosis and misdiagnosis. I'll let y'all take that home and dive in deeper. Misdiagnosis and misdiagnosis. What is shared decision-making, Dr. Hirsch? And we come from the standpoint of making informed decisions. What advice do you have? What direction do you put forth towards patients when asking questions, and how shared decision-making should be a good process of elimination if it's right for them?
this is a personal passion of mine, so I'm very happy to answer this question. Remember how I had mentioned during the first question, my response, that you all have a voice? I'm going to reiterate that again. You all have a voice. And it's not about sitting in front of a healthcare professional and the healthcare professional making all the decisions based on your treatments, whether it's in medicine, whether it's physical therapy, occupational therapy, or even just lifestyle recommendations. It's a two-way street. It needs to be a conversation between the individual who's coming in, who needs care, and the healthcare provider who is listening and providing that care. Because your perspective is going to be different than my perspective. It's going to be different from this person's and this person's and this person. Each and every one of you is unique. And you come from different places, from different backgrounds and different cultures. And being able to give that perspective will help the relationship between the healthcare provider and yourself, so that way we are fostering that mutual trust and we're coming to decisions together that make you feel comfortable. So the shared decision making is meeting in the middle. So I have my agenda, you have your agenda, just like Dr. Hua was mentioning. What is our shared agenda together? So that way we can lead to the best possible outcomes in the short term and the long term. And I would say, in preparation for a visit, it's writing down the things that are important to you. Whether it's while we are going to be discussing your initial treatment for MS, or a possible switch in your treatment of MS, or it doesn't even have to be related to a disease-modifying therapy at all. It could be related to any aspect of management of MS. What's important to you? What matters? What access do you have? Where do you struggle? Where are there challenges? Bringing that to the table is part of that two-way conversation. So that way we can build that trust and we can lead to as optimal an outcome as possible.
Oops, excuse me, Butterfingers. Thank you so very much. Again, power within the patient. Know your questions. Own the room. Be relentless in the pursuit of what you need and work cohesively as a unit with the specialists to get there. Thank you all so very much. We're going to cut over to our next video coming from our Heisman sponsor, Novartis. A quick 30-second video, and everybody who's tuning in at home via live stream, we thank you, we love you. Enjoy this quick video, and we'll be back as we dive in next with Chris Dunbar as we trickle on down, circling through our MS game plan. Thank you.
We're with you when disease changes everything, creating medicines that restore possibility and reimagine what is possible. We're with you, with others who care, doing more together than we could alone, listening, learning, to help you live life on your terms, reimagining medicine together.
I love it, y'all. When y'all can find people who believe in your dream, you can't help but to smile. Thank you so very much, our Heisman sponsor, Novartis. And now is awesome because as a patient advocate, it's a joy at Pro Player Foundation when we can give people a platform to share their journey, because your journey will speak even when you feel like you don't have the words to do so. So to my right, your left, patient advocate Chris Dunbar. And those of us who know about MS, we know that there's a life before MS and then there's a life afterwards. So I want you all to get an understanding of Chris's heart. And Chris, I want you to just level with us. Before MS, who is Chris Dunbar? What were you doing before then?
Well, great question. Well, I mean, I'm a veteran, 22-year veteran, United States Navy. Retired as a chief warrant officer. And being in the military was great. I mean, I was living the life. I started competing as a bodybuilder, I'm pretty sure you're going to touch on that, but I started competing as a bodybuilder while I was in the military back in 2007. And then once I retired, I decided to take my career further as a bodybuilder, and boom, got hit with multiple sclerosis. Just came all of a sudden.
Lucky you.
Yes, sir.
Welcome to the family.
Yes, sir.
So that's good. And again, because there is pre and then there's post MS. We know this. For you, what I found miraculous about your story were the tremors, the seizures, the optic neuritis, the paralysis, the things that raptured your body with pain. That was the beginning parts of your MS journey. What was your mindset being in the fact that you were hospitalized for 8 months because you had every right to throw in the towel on this bodybuilding journey, being hospitalized for 8 months? Nobody would have been mad at you. But what were you thinking in that moment of your life when you were going through your real go-through with MS?
That's great. I'm going to say this. For a person that was always in control of my body, I've always been in control. So I never did not know what it's like not to be in control. So when MS took me, I couldn't control nothing. I was having close to 6 seizures a day. So they had to get the seizures under control first. And so now, once they finally got the seizures under control, then the doctor, I remember this is a true story. I remember a doctor came in, a neurologist. He wasn't an MS specialist. This guy told me, looked me right in my face and told me I would never walk again. That's what he told me. So MS took me down this dark place, and all I kept asking myself, I'm pretty sure a lot of you all say the same thing, why me? Why me? I never knew nothing about multiple sclerosis until I finally got diagnosed. And it debilitated me for so long. I sitting in a hospital just looking up at the ceiling, and you're questioning everybody. You're questioning the doctors, you're questioning God. I'm like, just give me some medication, fix this so I can get back up and get to doing what I love to do. But none of that was working, and it really crushed me. It really crushed me until the one day I finally got the right MS specialist. I'll never forget this guy. This guy saved my life. I thank him. I still send him Christmas cards to this day.
Come on.
To this day. He's retired now, but I send him Christmas cards every year. And I love him to death. And he gave me the right medication, and my vision came back, and here I am.
Wow, that's a blessing. That's a blessing. And I appreciate your heart. It's hard enough to speak in front of people. The number one fear in the world outside of death is public speaking. So I appreciate you being willing to get up here and share your heart. Knowing where you were then, can you explain what August 19th, 2017, what is that date and what does it mean to you?
That was another scare. After coming back from multiple sclerosis, getting back on the stage, fighting through it, I got back to stage, got back to competing as a bodybuilder. Then all of a sudden, people know that MS affects your brain and your spine. So my spine started collapsing. It collapsed on a nerve that controlled my legs. So now, boom, I'm not walking again. Right back to square one. So I had open back surgery on that date in August. I had open back surgery. They had to go in, and the name of my back surgery is called lower lumbar decompression. That's what they did. So they had to pull the spine off the nerve so I could have feeling in my legs again. So now here I am, had to learn how to walk again, had to learn how to move again, and I got back to, I'm a person that don't know how to quit. When the doctor told me I couldn't walk again, I said, okay, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you. So I got back to the stage again, and a year after that surgery, I became a professional bodybuilder, being the first professional athlete with multiple sclerosis. I don't know if there's another one. I don't know. Maybe y'all can Google that and look it up, but I don't think so. So here I am.
That's awesome. Again, just wanted to give you your flowers. I appreciate you coming to speak from your heart. Those of you who aren't familiar, our culture, we kind of a lot of time have a tough time with sharing emotions, especially as men. A lot of times we're cultured from birth. There's no space for that. There's no room for that. What goes on in this house, y'all already know the saying. You get what I mean. So I appreciate your heart, and I want you to end it with this. We're still fighting for that space of vulnerability and transparency as men. Why are you so passionate about sharing your story and your MS perspective with others? Because to serve, that means it has to come from your heart. What is it about your heart that has you on this MS journey as an ambassador?
Well, I became very, once I met my wife, she showed me a different way of thinking religiously. So, I mean, just having her in my life and teaching me about that you didn't get out of that bed by yourself. Somebody was walking with you to help you get up. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. So I try to show people a different side to this disease that, yeah, we have it, but it's not who you are. It's just what you have. That's all it is. It's just what you have. So you got to learn how to use your mind. The mind muscle is so strong. And I feel if you think it, your body will follow. So the day I told myself to get up and move, my body started responding. And as long as you're having the right medication, the right treatment, and as long as you're eating right, I put the right food in my body. That's the most important thing. I eat a certain way. So as long as you're eating right, and never stop training, never stop. Please, I tell everybody, please don't stop training. I had a gentleman today, I told him to stand up, get up, and he was in a wheelchair. He was about to stand up right then. I don't know, he's back there somewhere, but he made me feel real good. Almost made me cry. So, but I mean, I just try to influence people to let them know that this disease does not define you. It does not. It will not define you. That's it.
I love it, and I appreciate that, and I know that speaks to so many people within the audience. And the one thing I tell people all the time is when I was 21, I never found that person who could I wanted to find a black man who could tell me it was going to be okay. I wish and I dreamed for it so much that I used to look at the computer and I would see Montel Williams smile. Your mind is an incredible, powerful thing, and it can take you some places. And if you don't quit for what you want, your stars will align to find you hope in places that you never dreamed of. And so I thank you, and I encourage people, don't lose hope, because life will bring you something to have hope for, and it will help usher you through what you go through. So I thank you for your transparency, and I thank you for your honesty. And I have special thank you for our next incoming sponsor, which is Biogen. Lord have mercy, I told myself I wasn't gonna cry. So our next video will come to us from our Heisman sponsor, Biogen. We thank you all so very much for staying with us, and we will be right back after this video for them for more from our MS Gameplan.
The courage to strive for what seems out of reach. The resilience to learn from failure and keep moving forward. The hope that inspires us every step along the way. These are the qualities we seek to preserve. They are also the qualities that drive us to preserve them. Biogen, where science meets humanity.
All right, everybody. Thank you so very much, Biogen. We appreciate you, and welcome back to your MS Gameplan. I'm Tyler Campbell, blessed to be here as your host. Dr. Hua, Dr. Hirsch, Chris Dunbar, who brought me to tears. Y'all don't tell nobody. Dr. Hirsch, I want to come to you next, okay? As an athlete, the studying of your opponent is essential when I think about like game plans and knowing what your opponent is doing so you can come up with your next move to counter that. Why do patients need to take time to understand their lab work? The truth is in the details, and your blood doesn't lie. Why do patients need to understand their lab work, and what steps do you take as a specialist to help them with the process of understanding their labs?
So I'm going to start by saying something that is pretty universal, and it's going to sound kind of kitschy, but there's so much truth behind it. Knowledge is power, right? It sounds kind of kitschy, but it is so spot on. Understanding what is happening in your body can be so incredibly overwhelming. There's so much happening all at once. There's a lot of fear. There's a lot of confusion. And remember how we talked about finding a healthcare provider that you trust and you can have good, solid conversations with? Okay. So let's take that piece, and now let's add on the additional piece about the power. The knowledge is power. So understanding what is happening, not only with the multiple sclerosis in terms of how you're feeling day to day, what your MRIs are showing, are you stable on your disease, do we need to tweak a little bit, what are the labs showing? All of that is important for individuals to understand on both sides of the table, to have that conversation, and for there to be an understanding, oh, that's why my doctor is recommending this, and this is why my healthcare provider is recommending this. It's because my lab work shows this, and my MRI shows this. And if something is confusing, or something doesn't make sense, or something doesn't feel right, guess what I'm going to ask you to do? Speak up. Use your voice, right? If something doesn't make sense, it's not on you, it's on us. We didn't explain it right. So we can then start over, and we can put it in a different way. Because walking out that door and having an understanding of what your lab work shows, of what the MRIs show, right? That is only going to give you the understanding that you need in order to live day to day with the know-how that you're being well cared for and that you have the tools in order to help yourselves. So again, knowledge is power.
Love it, love it. I'm going to take things a step further. While knowledge is power, applied knowledge is even more powerful. What good is it to get all the knowledge and the wisdom in the world about your journey if you don't use it? You have to apply your principles, and you have to apply the wisdom and insight given through shared decision making. Thank you so much. Dr. Hua, I gotta be transparent. There was times early on in my MS journey where I used my neurologist as my primary care physician. So I'm a black man. I've had high blood pressure ever since my late teens. I didn't ask for it. Look, it's there. So I was asking blood pressure questions. I was asking cholesterol questions because I didn't want to go set up another appointment with another doctor. I wanted you to be my one-stop shop. I'm confessing that that's wrong. I'm confessing. Why is it important for patients to keep the two separate? Not to try to turn your MS specialist into a one-stop shop, all-inclusive, your health makeup. This is true. You know I'm telling the truth. Why do we need to separate the two, Doc?
Oh, this is a fun one. So I adore my patients, and I love that the value that they put in and the trust that they put in me. But sometimes they ask me questions, and I'm like, I don't know what you're. You know, the last time I saw this was in medical school, and that was so long ago, right? So one of my mentors told me once, I'm a fantastic MS specialist. This is my passion, this is what I do, this is where I've gained my knowledge. But I'm a mediocre psychiatrist, right? And that's the same thing, right? Like, I know a lot about MS. I don't know everything. I don't ever profess to know everything, and I continue to learn every day and all the time. But it's my passion to find out about this. But the deeper I dive into MS, the farther away from general medicine I become, right? There's new medications all the time, and it's not just in MS, where it's in everything. And for me to be an expert in everything makes me less of an expert in MS, and it's not where my passion is, right? So while I understand the importance of controlling blood pressures, while I might tell you that you need to control your comorbidities, when I send you to other people, it's really because I'm not good at that, right? I need help, right? Let me focus on what I'm good at. Let me focus my resources, my team, who's out here in the audience. Thank you for your showing up. But, you know, for our nurses to answer the right questions, for our social work to direct you to the right, they really need to be able to focus on MS, right? And our clinic is set up for that. All of our team members is to do everything to get you on your medications, get you to the resources you need, get you to the team you need, get you to like the rehab that you need, right? We're not set up to get you your blood pressure medications. We're not really set up to monitor your diabetes. We're not really set up to like look at your liver and tell you what's kind of wrong with it, right? I'm absolutely unqualified to look at whatever is on your skin and to tell you what it is, right? So when our patients ask, like, I bless you, I really love that you value and trust me in this, but I really haven't touched this since medical school. Please don't put me on the spot, right? So yes, your primary care physicians are great at what they do. That's their passion, that's what they excel at, and it's their job and their passion to stay up to date on those areas so that it allows us to stay in our areas of passion as well.
Love it. I just honesty and transparency. I'm not saying I'm better than nobody. I'm telling you what I messed up at. I'm trying to give y'all my heart here, okay? Thank you so very much for being so open and willing to address it. And Dr. Hirsch, there's a lot going on when you have MS. And the one word I can think of is overwhelmed. A lot of us know what it's like to put out a fire of optic neuritis, and then before you know it, you're dealing with paralysis, or you got your paralysis under control, but now the pain is rupturing your body, or now my limbs are not working, but I was just doing well last week. What's going on now? It can be very overwhelming. The topic of mental health and mindfulness is real. You have lesions, which are holes on your brain or along your spinal cord region. Y'all, that's not normal. That's a lot, let alone with somebody who's here who's raising children, trying to keep a steady job. Just being thankful for the opportunity to wake up and be upright and, like my grandma used to say, in your sound mind. Those are some of the things that are already in our normalcy, and now MS is knocking on the door. Can you talk about the importance of understanding mental health and mindfulness on this journey, and how they need to come along with you to aid you as you're going down this road?
So I'm going to answer this question by first asking a question. And the lights are a little blinding, so I'm going to look out into the audience the best that I can. How many have you heard that vulnerability is a weakness? Have heard it, not believe it, have heard it. Okay. We're going to debunk that myth right now. Vulnerability equals bravery. Asking for help is bravery. There is nothing stronger than asking for help when you need it. Now, I profess to say that this dogma has been in my brain since I was born. So as Tyler had mentioned before, my father's a psychologist, and he has been taking care of people ever since I was born. And so I've been exposed to it since I can remember. So in my family, mental health is normal. Having sadness or anxiety is normal. The human condition is normal. in MS, there is a higher prevalence of depression and anxiety compared to the general population. Did you all know that? It's the truth. And so, with that, I want to debunk the myth that feeling sad is weak, feeling anxious is weak, feeling overwhelmed, feeling confused, feeling scared is weak. No. This is called the human condition. You are a human being. And so what I would like to empower you all to do, remember how I said in the very beginning with the first response that when something doesn't feel right, please speak up, advocate for yourself? Same thing. It's not just for the physical health, it's for the mental health as well. There is a very significant mind, body, and mind-brain connection. Please ask for help when you know that you need it. That is the bravest thing you can do.
Absolutely, absolutely love it. Wow, speechless. Good things to know that break down barriers because you need to start healing mentally, physically, and emotionally. Mind, body, and soul, it all works together. You need all hands on deck. Want to take the time out to again thank all of our sponsors. Platinum sponsor, Genentech, our Heisman sponsor, Novartis, other Heisman sponsor, Biogen, Silver and Black sponsor, TG Therapeutics, EMD Serono, the Carlson family. We thank you as well for being a Silver and Black sponsor. We didn't get the chance to air the Genentech video with its sound in the beginning, as many of you, I heard y'all in the audience, it ain't working, baby, we can't hear it. We're gonna get that corrected right now, and we're gonna rewatch this video with sound so you guys can get the understanding of this video by our platinum sponsor, Genentech. Thank you, and we'll be right back with our close of this program.
Why didn't the doctor believe me? Did I say something wrong?
Do we have to experience the same pain and bias as our parents and grandparents? What if they actually gave us access to those clinical studies we learned about and those cutting-edge medicines? How many lives would that save? How much longer would we live?
What if we asked the bigger questions and really tackled the root causes of systemic inequities in healthcare?
People of color still do not receive equal access to healthcare. We're determined to change this.
Truly powerful. Yeah, go ahead, give that a round of applause. Round of applause, everyone. And thank you all so very much. I hope that you weren't just hearing the program. I pray that you were listening. A person who listens has intent on the information that they've been given. A person who listens is just one ear and out the other. When we were flying in, and our child was on his best behavior, the boy had his best first flight you would ever imagine out of a 3-month-old. We was getting compliments. It was crazy. I looked out the window and I saw nothing but skyscrapers as you fly into Las Vegas, and it's beautiful. And I thought about us on our MS journey. You see, a lot of times people see what's on the exterior. Maybe it's our walkers. Maybe it's cognitive issues. Maybe it's the neuritis issues. Maybe it's the paralysis issues. But they have no idea, for some of us, what the foundation looks like. And I look at the buildings and we marvel at the buildings. We look at the Mirage. We look at New York. We look at the Bellagio. We have no idea that the reason that tower is able to stand as tall as it can day in and day out is because there's a foundation of that building that extends far beneath the soil that you can't even see. And so I'm begging you and I'm applauding you and I'm encouraging you, my brothers and my sisters who are on this MS journey, white, black, brown, green, yellow, or purple. Make a commitment to yourself today that no matter what your exterior looks like, no matter what it is that somebody may stare at to try to figure out what exactly is going on, they have no idea what your foundation is. But you are the determinant of what your foundation looks like. So where do you garner your strength? And I'm encouraging you today to leave this place understanding that you are going to build a solid foundation on this MS journey for yourself. Because we don't care what other people have to say about how we look on the exterior. Because your interior is worth more than its weight in gold. And you are the determinant of that. So I want you to love who you see staring back at the mirror each and every day at yourself. Look in the mirror and tell yourself you got it going on regardless of what your physical ailments may look like. And you tell yourself each and every day, I have a sturdy and strong foundation that extends far beyond what anybody sees on my exterior. Love yourself, because watch this. You can't even begin to love others or expect somebody else to love you if you don't love you first. And you deserve to love you. You are beautiful, you are handsome, and you are amazing. And your foundation can stand any storm that MS has to throw in your direction. I'm so thankful, Dr. Hua, Dr. Hirsch, Chris, our sponsors, Genentech, Biogen, Novartis, TG Therapeutics, EMD Serrano, the DuPont Carlson and Mark Carlson family, the volunteers that we have here. It takes a village. My goodness, for Allegiant Stadium and the Raiders to join in, they got their emblem on bottled water. I'm taking that back with me. Taking that back with me. I thank you. We are bridging the gap between the NFL and multiple sclerosis, and you all are all a part of this, in present and at home. Our Reach on the Road team, we have amazing people who serve, and they are doing things on the regular to make things possible. So I would like to acknowledge my brother, Jeff Stroud, CJ Vogel, who's been taking pictures like you wouldn't believe. The entire AV events team at Allegiant, man, we thank you all so very much for taking time away from your families from being here. My brother, Eric Allen, whose EA has kept me underneath his wing from day one, his family, I thank you guys so much. Las Vegas was a goal. It was something that we threw on the dart, and it actually came true. You see what happens when you dream. And the beautiful thing about dreaming, y'all, is it's free, and you don't have to expect somebody else to believe in your dream. All that matters is that you do. So on your MS journey, please don't forget to dream. As an adult, stop not dreaming. Continue to dream. We tell kids to do it all the time. Where in the world do we go forgetting to do the same for ourselves? Please keep dreaming, and please keep believing. The MS community, we are here for you. We love you. We've been at this thing with Pro Player Foundation for 20 years. This is the 20th year for Pro Player Foundation. We thank the MS community from Nevada. We thank the MS community who have come here from this great state of California. And those who are watching all across the world, we thank you, we love you, we appreciate you. This is from my heart to yours, our entire Pro Player family. We thank you. There are other ways that you can help these things moving forward. Continue to visit us at proplayerfoundation.org. Visit our website. There will always be more information and filtered information. Stay connected with us. Follow us on social media. We will always continue to be a vessel. Nothing more. Just an aid to help get you to where you need to be to live your best life with multiple sclerosis. My name is Tyler Campbell, a.k.a. Mr. TC Speaks, and this has been Real Life, Real Talk. This is your multiple sclerosis game plan. Now put it into action for yourself. Let's go so we can grow.